So, me and Conor have discussed this before on another episode, but what character that hasn't yet had a film or TV show do you wish would get a film or TV show?
Well, I think I know what your answer is going to be to this.
I don't know what my answer's going to be, so you know better than myself.
Impressive.
I
So,
feel like I want to pick a DC character
Oh,
because
okay.
there's a couple of like in Marvel that we could see, but those are a case of like they're probably going to happen. Now I would want to watch because I'm a fan of the DC TV shows and I loved Arrow. I would want to see a film just on Deathstroke.
Okay.
And that's only because I feel like there's not really many side character DC films. Not that are good anyway. Whereas I feel like the problem with Marvel is Marvel's like you can see the roadmap for them introducing all the characters, whereas like Lord knows what DC is doing.
Okay. I'm going to direct us off on a tangent now because that's just stoked to memory, but we will come back to this. Okay, so I'm just going to ask this question and I want your gut response and then I'll explain why I've asked this question. This goes for you as well, Hori.
Okay.
Is Deathstroke a Batman villain?
Oh, I'm going to let Hori go first.
This is hard because I only know him against Arrow. So my instinct is no. He's an Arrow villain.
Okay.
I see. My thinking is the same as Hori's. Because have we seen Deathstroke in a Batman like TV or film?
Or is he a Flash villain?
No.
We've seen him in all the Batman games.
Yeah. See, this is where it's
true.
I was just getting your gut.
I would say no, but I feel like if they did it properly and he was the main villain of a Batman film, he could be like a really cool one. Because obviously Conor has banged on about how Batman fanboys in their prep time.
In prep time. Okay.
So I feel like Deathstroke preparing for Batman probably could be quite a good film.
So Hori has given an answer that I think, if enough people on Twitter saw, could legitimately cause problems.
Yeah, me and Hori starting World War 3 on DC.
Deathstroke is not a Green Arrow villain.
Deathstroke is a Teen.
Deathstroke is a Teen Titans villain.
Honestly, I've never seen Teen Titans.
In the comics and in the Titans TV show, which is on Netflix, which I'm not going to get into. Some people hate it. I actually quite enjoy it. Whatever. But Deathstroke is a Teen Titans villain, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because of obviously the Bat fans' ties to Teen Titans, there's a fair bit of crossover. Him being used by the Arkham games adds to that.
Yeah.
So now there's this kind of debate on Twitter that's been happening all fucking week long. Of people who, and I don't like this term at all, I really don't, but people who would call themselves hardcore fans are just kind of looking at people going Deathstroke's Batman villain and going fucking casuals, which I hate. You guys have, I hate that term for everything. But I was just curious to get your guys' gut reactions because you guys feel like, again, I don't like the term, you guys are a bit more casual than.
Oh, I'm definitely casual. Yeah.
So I was just curious to see what your gut reactions would be. But the debate being, is he a Teen Titans or Batman villain? And then Hori guy, the fucking Green Arrow villain, would probably cause Twitter to go nuts.
See, the only reason that he's gone through my head as to why we should have never thought he was a Green Arrow villain is because he's the first big villain. And if he was like a proper Green Arrow villain, you're not wasting the first series or two of your TV show on him.
Yeah.
Especially as nerfed as he is.
Yeah. But I just thought I was curious because that's who you said it sparked it in my mind.
And it's gonna the only options are gonna be Green Arrow or Green Arrow, and
I would like to apologise to the hardcore fans. He's definitely a Teen Titans villain. Please don't come for me.
So you want to see Deathstroke adapted into a film? So this is really interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about this obsession that seems to be going on within the community right now of villain-led films.
I think people are just a bit tired. I think people are just a bit tired, especially on DC side, of Batman, Superman. Like it's always the big hero films, and people want something different and I don't know, grittier.
I think as well, like I think I said Deathstroke because you don't really see it from DC with side characters. It's always like the main characters, whereas
and
like
I think
Marvel,
that's it.
Marvel have like they're bringing in all the side characters, and there's probably a plan somewhere to include a character people want to see. Whereas DC, it's kind of like you've used him recently in like a couple of crossovers in the first series. No, I just think he's like a Winter Soldier type in that he can be a very intriguing villain, and it's just whether DC care enough to do it properly.
Put it this way, and this is my issue with DC. It is 2022, and we're just about to get our first Flash live action film.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
They've had a stinker there.
What? How does someone in a meeting not go, you know who's really popular, has a plethora of great comics, and like you could have a lot of fun with creatively? The Flash.
So powerful that it could literally murk people with ease.
Do you know what's even weirder about that? The Flash CW show is the one that's done the best out of all of them.
That's the ironic thing.
And it's like, how have you not spotted that people want this?
They don't seem to understand what correlation is at DC.
I still
with DC, it is just Superman, Batman, rinse and repeat.
I stand by the fact that they missed a trick involving the CW shows in their whole Justice League building idea that they had.
The DCEU went to shit the second they tried to rush through to catch up with Marvel, thinking that this was like a 10-year gap that they just needed to get on quickly, instead of doing what Marvel did and went, we'll just keep it running and see how it goes. And just building slowly.
All they needed to do is, at the time, they had Arrow and Flash, they'd already crossed over.
And there'd been plenty of references to Gotham and stuff.
Yeah, and they had Man of Steel out. And it's like all they needed to do was have Man of Steel Superman, Henry Cavill, just show up in a Flash episode. And then just boom, that's your tie-in. Now you can bring those characters into the film.
The other thing as well is they have Legends of Tomorrow as well, and they had Supergirl at the same time as Iron Flash, who they tied in as well. Like there was watching the shows is like there's so much opportunity. Yeah, Supergirl appears late in Arrow.
Supergirl was originally on a different Earth.
Oh, that was it. No, there was like some tie-in with the actual Man of Steel Superman.
It's just so many like you see these like my favorite episodes for the shows were always the crossover ones.
Yeah,
and it's just like there's so many opportunities here for you to build something, and they seem to just have no grasp of what to do with it.
My biggest issue with the CW shows and why I stopped watching them was 24 episode seasons are so American, and it hampers your writing. It just does,
especially when the episodes are an hour long.
And they were doing Freak of the Week style, which I believe, again, we've discussed before. Yeah. I don't like superhero shows anymore.
Yeah, I think like the 24 episodes of the season works if it
you can
feels
actually
like it's
fill it.
and if it feels like it's building to like a bigger arc. Like if it was all, you could feel like it was building all to like the same DC EU universe. Like then it worked, but the whole Freak of the Week thing just got boring.
They definitely got a little better, especially with Arrow, of like at least having a series of episodes that followed the same arc later on. It's just like it's just as much as I enjoyed it, again, it's just wasted opportunity is the problem with DC.
So like this brings me to my I've got 2 points. So I think one of the problems we're having with DC not adapting their slightly lesser known to the mass market characters is DC fans can be a bit more protective. And if it's not as it was in the comic, they get really weird about it. Whereas Marvel fans, when they just change Guardians of the Galaxy completely, were like, fuck it, this is a really cool take. As long as it's done well, Marvel fans don't really care. DC fans are just weird.
It definitely seems to be obviously me being a bit more casual viewing of all this from DC, it seems to be like there's no bravery in the decision making. Like there's never anyone who goes, we should just try it with this character, and if it doesn't work, oh well. Whereas they seem to just be like, we'll stick to our popular ones, and that we'll just take the easy money because we know people are going to come and watch because it says Batman or Superman in the title.
Yeah, exactly. And my second point was more on the Freak of the Week style shows. So I think I joked. I don't know which episode. There's a lot of episodes now, guys. I can't remember what was said when. I said about us, like, if me and Horry got to do like a comic run or something, how cool that would be. And as you guys both know, when I get an idea like that in my head, I tend to run with it for a while, especially with my day job just being like fixing stuff. The mind wanders. So I am at a point where I think I'm gonna start writing down notes and stuff, and like put a little something together as like a pitch almost of how I do my own take on superheroes, my own characters, and I think me and Horry can like flesh it out on here, and then Marvel or DC can come buy it off of us and butcher it, and then we can have our own fans moaning on Twitter. It'll be great.